5 rare psychology secrets that give you an unfair advantage. What if the secret to commanding respect, effortlessly influencing those around you, and achieving a level of admiration you never thought possible lay not in brute force or overt manipulation, but in the subtle application of hidden psychological principles? Imagine possessing the key to unlocking the deeply ingrained patterns of human behavior, allowing you to navigate social dynamics with unparalleled finesse and create genuine connections that foster trust and admiration. This isn't about deception or manipulation. It's about understanding the subtle dance of human interaction and learning to lead with empathy and intention. We're going to delve into 5 powerful psychology-based strategies, techniques whispered about in negotiation circles and mastered by charismatic leaders, yet largely unknown to the general public. These aren't just tricks. They're carefully crafted approaches rooted in the science of the human mind, designed to reshape perceptions, build rapport, and ultimately empower you to become a more influential and respected individual. But stick around until the very end, because I will introduce a 6th and even more impactful concept, a meta-strategy that will amplify the effectiveness of everything you're about to learn, turning you into a true master of influence. Deconstructing the 5 psychological tricks and beyond. Trick 1. The echo effect, the art of subconscious connection. We are social creatures, wired for connection. From the earliest moments of our lives, we seek out individuals who understand us, who reflect our thoughts and feelings, creating a sense of belonging and validation. The echo effect taps directly into this primal need, offering a surprisingly simple yet profoundly effective way to build instant rapport and foster a sense of trust. The brilliance of this technique lies in its subtlety. It's not about mimicking someone's every word or action, which would quickly come across as insincere or even mocking. Instead, it's about carefully listening for key words and phrases that resonate with the person you're interacting with, and then subtly incorporating them into your own responses. When someone hears their own language reflected back at them, their brain subconsciously registers a sense of understanding and agreement. This person gets me. Their mind whispers, they see the world the way I do. This creates a powerful sense of familiarity and connection, even between complete strangers. Consider the subtle nuances of language. People use different words to describe the same things, and those word choices often reflect deeper values and beliefs. Someone who describes a challenging situation as an opportunity likely has a more optimistic outlook than someone who describes it as a problem. By mirroring their language, you're signaling that you share their perspective, that you understand their way of thinking. Now, let's move beyond the basic example of a job interview. Imagine you're at a networking event, and you strike up a conversation with someone who describes themselves as a passionate advocate for environmental causes. Instead of simply saying, "That's great, I care about the environment too," you might respond with something like, "I admire your passion for advocacy. What are some of the most pressing issues you're currently focused on?" By using the phrase passionate advocate, you're not just agreeing with them, you're validating their identity and signaling that you understand and appreciate their commitment. This creates a much stronger connection than a generic statement of agreement. Furthermore, the echo effect can be used to subtly guide a conversation. By emphasizing certain words or phrases, you can steer the discussion in a particular direction, highlighting the points that are most important to you. If someone is constantly using negative language, focusing on problems and obstacles, you can subtly shift the tone by rephrasing their statements in a more positive light. For example, if they say, "This project is a disaster, everything is going wrong," you might respond with, "I understand this project presents significant challenges, but I believe we can overcome these obstacles and turn it into a success." By rephrasing their statement, you're not dismissing their concerns, but you're subtly reframing the situation and injecting a dose of optimism. However, there are crucial caveats to consider. Overdoing the echo effect can easily backfire, making you appear insincere or manipulative. The key is to be subtle and authentic, genuinely listening to the other person and responding in a way that feels natural and organic. It's also important to avoid simply parroting everything they say which can be annoying and off-putting. Instead, focus on reflecting the underlying meaning and emotion behind their words, demonstrating that you truly understand their perspective. Finally, remember that the echo effect is most effective when combined with other techniques, such as active listening and empathy. It's not a magic bullet that will instantly transform your relationships, but it's a powerful tool that can help you build stronger connections and foster a sense of trust and understanding. Trick 2. The 2-second rule. Mastering the power of pauses. In our fast-paced, hyper-connected world, we're often pressured to respond instantly, to fill every silence with words, to prove our intelligence and competence. But what if true power lay not in the speed of our responses, but in the deliberate, intentional use of silence? The 2-second rule challenges this conventional wisdom, revealing how a simple pause can dramatically alter the dynamics of a conversation, commanding respect, creating anticipation, and signaling unwavering confidence. The underlying principle is remarkably simple. When asked a question, pause for 2 seconds before answering. This seemingly insignificant delay has a profound impact on the way you're perceived. It communicates that you're thoughtful, deliberate, and in control. You're not simply reacting. You're carefully considering your response, choosing your words with intention. The 2-second rule creates a subtle tension in the conversation, a sense of anticipation that draws people in. In a world saturated with instant gratification, a brief pause signals that you're not afraid to take your time, that you value your own thoughts and opinions. It also suggests that you're not easily flustered or pressured, that you're confident in your ability to handle any situation. This is particularly effective in high-pressure situations, such as negotiations or presentations. When faced with a difficult question, a 2-second pause can give you the time you need to formulate a thoughtful response, while also projecting an image of calm and composure. Imagine a scenario where you're presenting a new proposal to a group of skeptical executives. After outlining your plan, one of them challenges you, saying, "This is far too risky. We can't afford to take this kind of gamble." Instead of immediately defending your proposal, you pause for 2 seconds, maintaining eye contact with the executive. This brief silence allows the weight of their words to settle, creating a sense of anticipation in the room. Then, you calmly respond, "I understand your concerns about risk. However, I believe the potential rewards of this proposal far outweigh the potential downsides." The pause gave you time to formulate a response that addressed their concerns directly, while also reinforcing your confidence in the plan. The 2-second rule is not just about buying time. It's about controlling the flow of the conversation. By pausing before you speak, you're subtly asserting your dominance, signaling that you're the one who sets the pace. This can be particularly effective in situations where you feel like you're being interrupted or talked over. A well-timed pause can create space for you to interject, allowing you to regain control of the conversation. However, like the echo effect, the 2-second rule must be used judiciously. Pausing for too long can come across as awkward or unnatural, making you appear hesitant or unsure of yourself. The key is to find the right balance, pausing just long enough to create a sense of anticipation without disrupting the flow of the conversation. It's also important to vary your pauses depending on the context. In a casual conversation, a brief pause may be all that's needed. But in a more formal setting, you may want to extend the pause slightly to emphasize the importance of your response. Ultimately, the 2-second rule is a powerful tool for enhancing your communication skills and projecting an image of confidence and authority. By mastering the art of the pause, you can command respect, create anticipation, and control the flow of any conversation. Trick 3. The unfinished sentence trap, weaving a web of curiosity. Human beings are inherently curious creatures. We are driven by a deep-seated desire to understand the world around us, to fill in the gaps in our knowledge, to solve puzzles and unravel mysteries. The unfinished sentence trap capitalizes on this innate curiosity, transforming you into a captivating storyteller who leaves people on the edge of their seats, desperate to hear what you'll say next. This technique involves intentionally starting a sentence or thought and then abruptly stopping, leaving the listener hanging, their mind racing to fill in the missing pieces. This creates a powerful sense of intrigue, drawing people in and making them more attentive to your words. The effectiveness of the unfinished sentence trap lies in its ability to hijack the listener's attention. When you leave a thought unfinished, you create a cognitive gap, a void that the listener's brain automatically tries to fill. This process requires mental effort, forcing them to focus on your words and anticipate your next statement. In essence, you're turning them into active participants in the conversation, rather than passive recipients of information. Imagine you're giving a presentation on a complex topic. Instead of simply presenting the information in a straightforward manner, you can use the unfinished sentence trap to pique the audience's interest and keep them engaged. For example, you might say, "The results of this study were quite unexpected. In fact, they were so surprising that." Then you pause, allowing the audience's minds to fill in the gap. Are the results positive or negative? Did they challenge conventional wisdom? Did they lead to a new breakthrough? The possibilities are endless, and the audience will be eagerly waiting to hear the rest of your statement. The unfinished sentence trap can also be used in more casual conversations to create a sense of mystery and intrigue. If someone asks you about your weekend, instead of simply recounting your activities, you might say, "I had a really interesting weekend." Let's just say it involved a spontaneous trip, a chance encounter, and a decision that. Then you pause, allowing their curiosity to build. They'll be dying to know the details of your weekend, and they'll be much more likely to listen attentively when you finally reveal the rest of the story. The key to using the unfinished sentence trap effectively is to create a sense of genuine curiosity, rather than simply teasing or withholding information. The unfinished sentence should hint at something interesting or significant, something that will make the listener want to know more. It's also important to avoid overusing this technique, as it can quickly become annoying or predictable. Use it sparingly, at moments where you want to create a strong impact and capture the listener's attention. Moreover, the unfinished sentence trap can be combined with other techniques to amplify its effectiveness. For example, you can use the 2-second rule after leaving a sentence unfinished, creating an even greater sense of anticipation. You can also use the echo effect to reinforce the listener's curiosity, mirroring their questions and comments about the unfinished sentence. In conclusion, the unfinished sentence trap is a powerful tool for capturing attention, creating intrigue, and transforming yourself into a more captivating communicator. By mastering this technique, you can leave people on the edge of their seats, eager to hear your every word. Trick 4. The one-word shift, turning the tables with subtlety. Have you ever been confronted with a challenge, a sarcastic remark, or a blatant attempt to undermine your authority? The natural reaction is often to become defensive, to argue back, to try to justify your position. But what if there was a more elegant, more effective way to handle these situations? A way to flip the power dynamic without even raising your voice. The one-word shift offers a surprisingly simple, yet incredibly powerful solution. Respond with a single word. Really? This seemingly innocuous response can completely disarm your opponent, forcing them to question their own assumptions and putting them on the defensive. The effectiveness of the one-word shift lies in its ambiguity. When you respond with "really," you're not directly disagreeing with the other person, but you're not agreeing with them either. You're simply expressing a sense of mild surprise or skepticism, prompting them to elaborate on their statement. This forces them to justify their position, to explain why they believe what they believe. Imagine you're in a meeting and a colleague says, "That idea will never work. It's too risky and too expensive." Instead of getting defensive and arguing back, you simply raise an eyebrow and say, "Really?" This forces them to explain why they think the idea won't work, to provide specific reasons and evidence to support their claim. In doing so, they may realize that their initial assessment was too hasty or that their concerns are not as valid as they initially thought. The one-word shift is particularly effective against sarcasm and negativity. When someone makes a sarcastic remark, responding with "really" can take the wind out of their sails, forcing them to confront the underlying negativity of their statement. It also prevents you from getting drawn into a pointless argument. allowing you to maintain your composure and control. However, the tone of your voice is crucial when using the one-word shift. It should be delivered with a sense of genuine curiosity, rather than with hostility or aggression. The goal is not to provoke a fight, but to encourage the other person to think more critically about their own assumptions. It's also important to maintain eye contact and use appropriate body language, conveying a sense of confidence and composure. Moreover, the one-word shift can be combined with other techniques to amplify its effectiveness. For example, you can use the 2-second rule before responding with "really," creating a sense of anticipation and emphasizing the weight of your response. You can also use the echo effect to mirror their language, subtly challenging their assumptions and prompting them to reconsider their position. In conclusion, the one-word shift is a powerful tool for defusing conflict, challenging assumptions, and maintaining control in difficult situations. By mastering this technique, you can turn the tables on your opponents and emerge victorious without even raising your voice. Trick 5. The inception technique, planting seeds of influence. Direct advice is often met with resistance. When we feel like someone is trying to tell us what to do, our natural instinct is to push back, to defend our autonomy, to resist being controlled. The inception technique bypasses this resistance by subtly planting ideas in people's minds, making them believe that they came up with the idea themselves. This is a powerful way to influence others without triggering their defenses, making them more receptive to your suggestions and more likely to act on them. The core principle of the inception technique is to ask questions that lead the other person to the desired conclusion. Instead of telling them what to do, you guide them through a process of self-discovery, helping them to arrive at the answer on their own. This makes them feel like they're in control rather than being manipulated, which significantly increases the likelihood that they'll embrace the idea. Imagine you want to encourage a friend to start exercising. Instead of saying, "You should really start working out. It would be good for your health," you might ask, "Have you noticed any changes in your energy levels lately? Do you think incorporating some physical activity into your routine might help you feel more energized?" By asking these questions, you're prompting them to think about the benefits of exercise and to consider whether it might be a solution to their problems. The inception technique is particularly effective when dealing with sensitive or controversial topics. Instead of directly confronting someone about their beliefs or behaviors, you can use questions to gently guide them towards a different perspective. This allows them to change their mind without feeling like they're being attacked or judged. However, the inception technique requires patience and subtlety. You can't simply ask leading questions and expect people to instantly change their minds. You need to create a supportive and non-judgmental environment where they feel comfortable exploring their own thoughts and feelings. It's also important to avoid being too obvious with your intentions, as this can trigger their defenses and make them resistant to your suggestions. Moreover, the inception technique can be combined with other techniques to amplify its effectiveness. For example, you can use the echo effect to mirror their language and validate their concerns, making them feel understood and respected. You can also use the unfinished sentence trap to pique their curiosity and encourage them to explore new possibilities. In conclusion, the inception technique is a subtle yet powerful tool for influencing others without triggering resistance. By mastering this technique, you can plant seeds of influence in people's minds and guide them towards the desired outcome, all while making them feel like they're in control. The sixth secret weapon, metacognitive awareness, understanding the why behind the what. So, you now possess 5 powerful psychological techniques to enhance your influence, build respect, and foster admiration. But there's a missing piece, a crucial element that will transform you from a mere practitioner of these tricks into a true master of influence: metacognitive awareness. Metacognition, simply put, is thinking about thinking. It's the ability to step back from your own thoughts and emotions and observe them objectively. In the context of influence, metacognitive awareness means understanding why these techniques work, what psychological principles they're based on, and how they can be adapted to different situations and personalities. Why is this so important? Because simply applying these techniques blindly, without understanding the underlying principles, can lead to ineffectiveness or even backfire. Think of it like this. You can learn to play a song on the piano by following the sheet music, but you won't truly understand the music until you understand music theory, the underlying principles of harmony, melody, and rhythm. Metacognitive awareness allows you to move beyond rote memorization and develop a deeper, more intuitive understanding of human interaction. It enables you to tailor your approach. Recognize that not all techniques work equally well on all people. Understanding different personality types, cultural backgrounds, and individual motivations allows you to adapt your approach for maximum impact. For example, someone who is highly analytical might respond better to logical arguments and evidence-based persuasion, while someone who is more emotional might be more receptive to empathy and connection. Anticipate reactions. By understanding the psychological principles at play, you can better predict how people will react to your actions and adjust your strategy accordingly. This allows you to avoid potential pitfalls and maximize your chances of success. For example, if you know that someone is particularly sensitive to criticism, you can use the inception technique to guide them toward a better understanding of their own shortcomings, rather than directly pointing them out. Identify manipulation. Being aware of these techniques also makes you more resilient to being manipulated by others. You can recognize when someone is trying to use these tactics on you and take steps to protect yourself. This is particularly important in situations where you feel like you're being pressured or taken advantage of. Ethical application. With metacognitive awareness comes a greater sense of responsibility. Understanding the power of these techniques allows you to use them ethically and responsibly, focusing on building genuine connections and creating positive outcomes for everyone involved. This means avoiding manipulation, respecting the autonomy of others, and using your influence for good. Continuous improvement. By constantly reflecting on your interactions and analyzing your successes and failures, you can refine your techniques and become a more effective communicator and influencer. This is a continuous process of learning and growth. We are always striving to improve your understanding of human behavior. How do you develop metacognitive awareness? Here are a few key steps. Study psychology. Dive deeper into the science of human behavior. Read books, articles, and research papers on topics like social psychology, cognitive biases, and persuasion techniques. Observe interactions. Pay close attention to the interactions around you. Notice how people communicate, how they react to different situations, and how they try to influence each other. Reflect on your own experiences. Take time to analyze your own interactions. What worked well? What could you have done differently? What psychological principles were at play? Seek feedback. Ask trusted friends, family members, or colleagues for honest feedback on your communication style and your ability to influence others. Practice mindfulness. Develop the ability to be present in the moment and observe your own thoughts and emotions without judgment. This will help you become more aware of your own biases and assumptions, allowing you to communicate more effectively. Metacognitive awareness is the key to unlocking the true potential of these psychological techniques. It's the difference between simply knowing what to do and understanding why it works. By developing this deeper understanding, you can become a more influential, respected, and ethical individual. Conclusion: embracing the power responsibly. Now, equipped with these powerful psychological tools and the crucial understanding of metacognitive awareness, you stand at a crossroads. You can choose to ignore this knowledge, to remain oblivious to the subtle forces that shape human interactions, or you can embrace this newfound understanding and embark on a journey of personal growth and influence. The choice is yours. Most people navigate life without ever realizing the hidden psychological dynamics that govern social interactions. They struggle to gain respect, they wonder why their voices are unheard, and they remain unaware that influence is not simply about what you say, but about how you say it, when you say it, and the emotional impact you create. But you're no longer among the unaware. You have unlocked secrets that have been wielded by leaders, negotiators, and high achievers for generations to command social situations. When you apply the echo effect, you'll forge instant connections, creating an unspoken bond of understanding. The 2-second rule will shift power dynamics. compelling others to listen intently and value your words. The unfinished sentence trap will transform you into an enigma, captivating attention and sparking insatiable curiosity. The one-word shift will disarm disrespect without a single shout, and the inception technique will allow you to plant ideas that blossom as if they were born from the minds of others. However, remember that with great power comes great responsibility. These techniques are not meant to be used for manipulation or personal gain at the expense of others. Instead, use them wisely, ethically, and with a genuine desire to build strong relationships, foster mutual respect, and protect yourself from those who might seek to exploit you. Which of these 6 concepts, the 5 tricks and the metacognitive secret weapon, resonates with you the most? Which one are you eager to experiment with and integrate into your daily interactions? Share your thoughts and intentions in the comments below. Let's create a community of mindful influencers committed to using these powerful tools for good. And if you're ready to delve deeper into the fascinating world of influence and personal empowerment, subscribe too. This is more than just a channel. It's a movement dedicated to equipping you with the knowledge and skills you need to unlock your full potential and create a life of purpose and impact. Subscribe now and become a part of the movement. The choice, as always, is yours.